It is my honor to now introduce everyone to our keynote speaker, Mr. Taleb Rifai. He's the former Secretary General of the UN WTO, and now he's the Secretary General of the World Tourism Forum Institute, one of the most powerful tourism organizations with offices in London. Thank you.
Good morning. Günaydın. My dear friends, I want to start by thanking everyone here simply for being with us this lovely Bodrum morning, especially those coming from so far away. Nadir Bey, please convey to Mehmet Bey our thanks for joining us here in Bodrum. Turkey is very dear to me personally. Brand of Turkey is my brand. We truly appreciate your presence here in Bodrum. Thank you so much for your kind words. Ahmed Bey, my dear Mayor, enjoyed our meeting yesterday and the beautiful reception we had at Bodrum Castle. We met, of course, before in Malta. I particularly enjoyed your warm, intelligent speech. You are a true people's man. You and our minister and deputy minister have proven to us that what politics may divide, tourism and the greater interest of our beloved Turkey can unite us together. My dearest friend, Bulut Bey, you have done a fantastic job. I'm proud to be the new Secretary General of WTFI. Thank you for bringing us all together here. Particularly thank you for bringing us to beautiful Bodrum. Many of us are here for the first time. I can assure you, Mr. Mayor, this will not be a last time. I'm delighted and looking forward to hear Mr. Tony Blair's message. I recall our last meeting in Palestine in Bethlehem with him 3 years ago, where he shared with us his respect to tourism and his years of young experience as a young hospitality worker. You are a true inspiration, Mr. Blair. Ladies and gentlemen, let me finally thank all the wonderful people that are serving. It's the little people here in this room, the men and women that have been serving us in this hotel, here particularly, and in this room. They're doing a great job. These are the people who are serving now. My dear friends, 4 years ago, I was interviewed by a Portuguese paper. I was asked the following question: how would I define the current moment, considering the events related to terrorism, Brexit, and the then election of Donald Trump that imposed travel restrictions? At the time, no one expected COVID crisis and the impact it had on the travel industry. I believe this is now a defining moment in the history of mankind altogether. Everything will change. 4 years ago, I remember saying that terrorism, Brexit, and the Trump election will affect travel and tourism industry negatively. And it did, by varying degrees and in varying ways, as we knew it then. But I said that the world would come back in less than a year it did. Today we will not bounce back. We will leap forward into a new world, a new norm, a better and more sustainable world. I'm therefore very optimistic, like Mr. Blunt, but not in going back to where we were, rather advancing forward to a more sustainable growth form. People will continue to travel even more, but the world would do it in a different way, a more sustainable way. My dear friends, it's point in time we need to define sustainability. What is sustainability? Many activists today equate sustainability only with climate change and environmental sustainability. So, what is sustainability? To me, it is simply to sustain life on Earth, to sustain life on Earth for future generations, no more and no less. It's the people that matter at the end of the day, the future generation. We preserve our environment for the future generations to continue living on Earth. The quality of life, therefore, matters as well. And that has to do with social, economic, and political sustainability, not just environmental sustainability. For what is life without dignity and prosperity? Social and economic models, as well as the political models, matter as such as the environmental policies do for sustaining life on Earth. So what sustainability is not, it's not just environmental sustainability, as important as that is, for if there is no environment, sustainability, and preservation, there would be no life on Earth. But sustainability is also social, economic, and political sustainability. Sustainability is also not synonymous with preservation and conservation. It's not freezing and not touching things, our environment or our culture, heritage. Let us remember that what we build today is tomorrow's heritage, just as today's heritage is what we built yesterday. We were all at the castle yesterday and we saw our heritage. Sustainability is also not anti-growth or anti-progress. Life must go on, hand in hand with progress and growth. It's the story of mankind from the beginning. We cannot sustain life on Earth without growth and progress. The world population is growing. There's nothing we can do about it to stop it, unless we're part of bigger conspiracy that we know about. We heard. We need growth. We need scientific progress to sustain human life on Earth. My dear friends, it is said that 70 to 75% of the carbon emission is generated by cities, from cities. It's also believed that by the year 2030, 50% of the world population will be living in cities. That dilemma needs to be addressed immediately so we can sustain life. The answer is not to stop building nor to stop expanding our cities. Cities have contributed to essential human achievement. It is now how we build them and where and expand our cities. Was the island of Manhattan, for example, more beautiful before contribution and progress on Earth, before the city of New York was built? Was the archipelago of Venice more rich and more culturally, historically important and meaningful to human life before Venice was built? Was the desert around Dubai more contributing to mankind well-being before the city was built? Was the area around Bodrum nicer before Bodrum was built? The answer is obvious. It's not therefore what we build and construct. It's how, when, and where constructed. It's not the skyscrapers that we should be against. It's how you build it, where you build it. A skyscraper can be the most disastrous consumer of energy, or it can become the best solar collector and the best vertical garden in the world. It all depends on how and where we construct it. It's therefore a matter of technology, progress and innovation, and management. Sustainability, my friend, therefore, is not only about conservation or preservation. The challenge is one of innovation and management. We need to manage our cities, to manage our growth in the right way. Both are connected to progress, moving forward, not freezing or not touching anything around us. It's about moving forward, living life to the fullest through progress and growth out in a sustainable way. My friends, the travel and tourism industry, without doubt, was one of the most affected sectors as a result of COVID-19. Unfortunately, each government is working on its own, doing what they think is best to protect their people, which is expected and understandable. For life is the most important thing to worry about. Governments are doing a great job. Look at the government of Turkey, the government of my own country, Jordan. They're doing very well protecting their people. The only way, however, any country could have done better in resolving this life and livelihood dilemma is to coordinate its action and procedures with its neighbors first, and then move internationally. My dear friends, the trick is not to do a perfect job on your own. It is indeed to agree on a minimum procedure starting with one's own surrounding destination till we reach an international level. What we need is a new multilateral system, a more harmonized, more fair, more equitable system, because it's not important how successful every country is on its own. If one cannot travel from one place to another, this is the nature of travel. It connects people and places together. We cannot have a place that is working in one way and another place next to it that's operating in a different way. We have to function as one. You cannot have one country insisting on quarantine, like in Europe, while a neighboring country is asking for a vaccine passport, and a third country is simply asking for 72 hours testing before arrival or at the entry point. The EU is a good example of this failure of the multilateral system. Even the United States are not united anymore. They're the divided states of America. Each state is working on its own. You cannot travel from America to Canada now. You have to quarantine. Multilateral system must be newly built from bottom up, brick by brick. A more fair system, one that does not depend on the principle of those that have it and those that don't have it. Vaccination is a good example. I think Mr. Bullant said it. Vaccination at this rate would take no less than 5 years to vaccinate 70% of the world population. And the travel industry will not bounce forward to a new norm when the whole world is ready to travel under a unified system. The nature of travel is that you have to send people from and receive people. It is therefore not wise maybe to depend solely on vaccination. It's not fair nor equitable in today's world for countries and people that do not have the ability to vaccinate the majority of their population. We do not want to turn this into a political game of those that have it and those that don't. But most importantly, we will all lose if so. Those that vaccinated and those that were unable to vaccinate. None would travel to a non-vaccinated destination. And no one from a vaccinated destination would accept receiving anyone from a non-vaccinated destination. After all, travel is about connecting everybody, everywhere. So it will not work till everybody is vaccinated, and that will take a long time. Affordable testing and harmonizing, maybe, just maybe, a more logical way and faster way for more immediate recovery, or a combination of both, vaccination and testing in one passport. Because if we want to quick recovery, we have to start rather immediately by harmonizing a testing system, make it become more available and more affordable. It's easier and faster, but most importantly, to have one international system agreed upon by everybody is the most important thing. I think the world leaders must meet in a room and be told, you cannot leave this room until you agree on one system. This is the responsibility of the United Nations. There will be no coming back until people have a peace of mind, trust and confidence in a system, one system that would be an international system. They're not going to travel simply because their governments tell them now you can travel. There is an opportunity that comes out of every crisis. The prime winner from this crisis is domestic and regional tourism, which is one of the important opportunities coming out of this crisis. It is true, domestic travel does not bring in hard currency or contribute to the balance of trade, as we heard from the previous speaker, but it keeps businesses alive and jobs alive, which is a good thing, especially for developing countries, where a tourist is only a foreigner, blonde, blue-eyed person. No country, I say this, no country that's not visited and enjoyed by its own people can or should be enjoyed by outside visitors first. To me, this is a matter of principle, not just a current or temporary in need due to the crisis, which will set the record clear once and for all. My dear friends, many lessons can be learned, like the value and importance of travel altogether, in particular the domestic and regional travel, which has become important. The importance and the prominence of digital technology, the health and sanitation safety, and the new norms. Finally, the need to return to retrain our workforce to adjust to all of the above and the use of idle time. We have 4 very important changes that have happened. First, we have a rise in importance of domestic regional tourism. Secondly, we have the rise in importance of technology. Thirdly, we have the importance of sanitation and safety. And fourthly, sustainability. All these need a national program of training and retraining. As for who would survive this crisis, only those that understand that we are moving forward into a new norm, a new reality will survive. A new world is in the making, one that is more fair, more equitable, and therefore more sustainable. Everybody has to adjust. Unfortunately, the travel and tourism industry is not the best in adjusting and thinking innovatively. It's a very traditional industry. Let us remember that we were able to put 1 man on the moon before we were able to put 2 wheels on a suitcase. That's how innovative, that's how very conservative our industry is. Our hotels are still run the same way they were run 600 years ago. After all, they all have to adjust. Airline have to communicate more confidence and trust in cleanliness and hygienes. They must have a more flexible booking and cancellation policy. Hotels have to recognize that domestic and regional clients are going to be the first to come back. So national holidays will see better traffic. And then maybe digital nomads that our good mayor talked about, which would require special long-term deals. So special and different deals will have to be offered by hotels. Restaurants also will have to cater more for delivery and adjust seating for social distancing. All will have to convey a feeling of cleanliness and hygiene. The world is also becoming a more digital world. Simply have to adapt and make the best out of it, to think out of the box. Tourism must recognize that everything can become digital and virtual, not just in meetings like this. This is a very unique opportunity for us to meet face to face. Most of the meetings, most of the conferences are being held virtual today. But conferences, big gatherings, gyms, activities, even personal events will have to become more dependent on technology. You all saw Bocelli, for example, making his concert from Italy, from Milan. I had my daughter married via Zoom from Dubai, for example. I was in Amman, Jordan, with the father of the groom. She was with her husband in Dubai, and the priest, the sheikh, was on the 3rd line. We just had to be imaginative and think outside of the box. Technology today is going to be dominating everything. Therefore, my dear friends, we must first recognize the changes and admit them. Then we should think imaginatively of the needs of change through technology, sustainability, and imaginative, honest, and transparent promotion, as explained in previous example, suiting the new digital, young, and well-informed consumer. My friends, in tourism there is no competition between neighbors. Usually what's good for my neighbor is good for me. It's like the concept of the souk. In a souk, all people that sell gold are in the same street. They don't see each other as competitors. They compete on the quality of service in the client. All people that sell pepper, for example, are in one street. So what's good for my neighbor is good for me. It's domestic and regional travel that would revive first. Therefore, there are 3 stages for recovery, and I want to very quickly go through them with you. 1, keep businesses alive, which requires direct support from governments or soft loans just to ensure businesses have enough time to adjust to the new reality and survive. Simply remain alive. That's stage number one. Stage number two is concentrate on domestic and regional travel, which requires the private sector to adjust quickly to the new realities of such travelers and offer new deals. Then and only then can governments stop their direct support. It's the responsibility of governments. Each government is doing it in a different way. Thirdly, and only thirdly, we move to international travel. That could start with young digital nomads, as our good mayor said, and a special travel insurance policies for foreigners, which require special arrangement and packages from accommodation sectors, as well as government support in connecting with local insurance provider, promotion, visas, taxes issues will have to be also dealt with. My friends, my message to you today at the end is come together. We can only do it together. Build a better world. No government can do it alone, no matter how good your plan is. There are opportunities that come out of every crisis. Let us not miss this one. Let us remember that in Chinese language, the word crisis, the word opportunities are one word. Chok tashakkur. Thank you so much.